Everyone ignored her. Until he froze. Billionaire. Mid-stride. And the second his eyes landed on her, everything in her world shifted. But what he wanted next could ruin her. Hi my beautiful family. I have missed you all. Thank you so for sticking around with me. I truly appreciate your love and support. If you're already hooked in for today's story and ready to enjoy it, click subscribe and let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Because, tomorrow, I will be giving you another story just as interesting as this one. And you don't want to miss it. Now let us begin. It happened in Asheville's River Arts District, where mornings smelled like roasted beans and wet gravel after a light drizzle. Talia Warren, 34, stood on a small wooden ladder outside her community art center, fixing a sagging banner before the afternoon workshops. Her clothes were speckled in paint, a brush tucked behind her ear, curls pulled into a messy bun that somehow framed her face with gentle confidence. Across the street, Rowan Hale, 38, paused with a takeaway cup in hand. People didn't usually make Rowan stop. Meetings waited for him, clients adjusted for him, doors opened before he touched them. That came with the kind of wealth he was born into. Charleston estates, coastal homes, a private foundation he rarely spoke about. But right then, watching the way Talia steadied the ladder with her knee and brushed hair from her cheek with the back of her wrist, he didn't move. She didn't see him yet. She didn't see anyone really. She was focused, humming softly, hands steady. People passed her without a glance. Rowan noticed that too. How everyone walked past her like she was part of the building. When the wind suddenly tugged the banner and the ladder wobbled, Rowan stepped forward. "Hang on." His voice cut through the quiet street. Talia's eyes widened as she gripped the rung. He caught the ladder with one strong hand and steadied it until her feet touched the pavement. She exhaled. "Wow, thank you. I didn't realize it was shifting." Rowan gave a small smile. "Glad I was here." He hesitated, his gaze searching her face with curiosity he didn't fully understand yet. "Do you run this place?" She nodded, brushing dust from her jeans. "Yeah. It's nothing fancy, but it's home for a lot of kids who need it." That did something to him. Most people he met talked about acquisitions, markets, margins. Not purpose. And not with that kind of quiet conviction. Rowan found himself saying, "I'd like to know more, if you're open to it." Talia blinked, not used to being noticed, much less by a man whose watch alone probably cost more than her annual budget. But something in his tone wasn't pity or flattery. It was genuine. "Sure," she said softly. "I'm open to it." Would you have trusted a stranger who suddenly paid attention after years of being overlooked? Share your experience in the comment section. Talia didn't expect Rowan to actually walk through the doors of the art center. Most people who said they wanted to know more were being polite. But later that afternoon, while she stacked paint trays and wiped down tables, the bell above the door chimed. Rowan stepped in, casual but unmistakably expensive. His shirt looked soft enough to cost a month's rent, and the subtle glint of a platinum watch peeked from his sleeve. Not flashy, just quiet wealth. He looked around with a small, appreciative smile. "This place has heart." Talia felt her chest warm at the sincerity in his tone. "Thank you. It's held together by volunteers and duct tape, but it works." Rowan walked to the far shelf, where hand-sculpted clay animals lined the wall. He picked up one shaped like a lopsided cat. "A kid made this. 8-year-old Maya. She's shy but talented." He turned the sculpture in his hand like it was gallery art. "It's beautiful. No one had ever said it like that. Not to her. Not to any of the kids." She tucked a curl behind her ear. "Most folks overlook this place." Rowan's eyes lifted to her, slow and deliberate. "I don't overlook things worth noticing." Heat rushed through her, surprising in its strength. She cleared her throat and moved to tidy a stack of canvases. "So, what do you do, Rowan?" He gave a soft, almost embarrassed chuckle. "I invest in tech startups, philanthropy projects, real estate on the coast." He shrugged lightly, as if minimizing it. I keep busy. Talia translated that easily. He's wealthy, very wealthy. But he didn't carry it like a shield. If anything, he looked slightly uncomfortable talking about himself. That sounds big, she said. It can be, he admitted. But lately, I've been wondering if any of it matters without something real attached to it. She froze for a heartbeat. He wasn't talking about money at all. Before she could respond, one of the teens, Jordan, burst through the back door carrying a half-finished drawing. Ms. Talia, does this look weird? He stopped when he saw Rowan. Who are you? Rowan smiled warmly. Just someone learning. Talia looked between them, Rowan fitting himself gently into her world without taking up space. And for the first time in years, she wondered, why me? Why now? Why him? Do you think people with power can genuinely see those the world ignores? The next morning, Asheville woke to soft sun sliding between the mountains. Talia unlocked the center early, expecting a quiet hour before the kids arrived. Instead, she found Rowan sitting on the low brick wall outside, sipping coffee like he'd been waiting. He stood when he saw her. You start the day early. You too, she said, trying not to stare at the warm smile he offered her. Didn't expect to see you again. Didn't plan on leaving yesterday thinking about this place, he admitted. Then softer. Or about you. Her breath caught, just barely. Well, come on in. They stepped inside, the light filtering through stained glass windows and scattering colors across the floor. Talia grabbed a box of brushes from the storage room, and when she came back, Rowan knelt on the floor trying to reassemble a broken easel. He looked up. Is this supposed to lean like a tired grandpa? She laughed, really laughed, and the sound warmed something deep in him. Here, she said, crouching beside him. You have it upside down. Oh, he murmured, cheeks flushing in a way that didn't match billionaire confidence. Right. She gently turned the frame, and as she did, her fingers brushed his. Just a touch. A whisper of skin. But Rowan's breath stilled. And Talia didn't pull away. Not immediately. Their eyes lifted at the same time, surprising both of them with the closeness. Rowan swallowed. You feel that too, right? Talia didn't trust her voice at first. Her pulse tapped against her throat like it wanted out. I don't usually let people get this close. Then tell me to step back, he said quietly. He didn't move. Didn't push. Didn't assume. She looked into the warm steadiness of his eyes, the kind that didn't pity, didn't judge, didn't rush. I'm not going anywhere, he added, voice low. Not unless you want me to. And that was it. The moment the overlooked woman realized she wasn't invisible to him. The moment he realized her presence felt like something he'd been missing for years. The air shifted, charged with something soft but undeniable, chemistry that felt less like lightning and more like a sunrise. Slow, warm, beautiful, and happening whether they planned it or not. Have you ever felt a connection with someone before a single romantic word was spoken? For the rest of the week, Rowan kept finding excuses to stop by the art center. A quick check-in, he called it. Talia didn't correct him, though her smile each time said she wasn't fooled. That Friday, the Asheville sky held a blush of pink as evening settled. Talia was locking up when Rowan appeared, hands in his pockets, looking strangely unsure. Can I walk you to your car? He asked. Sure, she said, practically feeling the nerves rolling off him. Everything okay? Yeah. He paused, then exhaled with a small laugh. I'd like to take you to dinner. Somewhere nice. Somewhere you don't have to think about paint or budgets or fixing wobbly ladders. She stared at him, surprised at how gentle his voice was. I don't usually do dates, she said softly. I don't usually ask, he replied, meeting her eyes. But I want to with you. The honesty in his tone wrapped around her like a warm hand. After a moment, she nodded. Okay. Yes. Rowan's relief was instant, shoulders loosening, smile blooming. He took her to a quiet terrace restaurant overlooking Asheville's rolling hills, where lanterns glowed like fireflies and the air smelled faintly of rosemary. Talia walked beside him, smoothing her dress, aware of how his eyes softened every time they drifted to her. Not hungry. Not possessive. Just appreciative. Like he was grateful she said yes. At the table, he pulled out her chair. Not in a performative way, but in the way a man does when he's thinking about her comfort, not his image. They talked easily, their voices blending with the music drifting from inside. Rowan leaned in slightly. You know, you have this way of seeing people. I watched you with Jordan yesterday. You didn't just teach him, you lifted him. Talia blinked, caught off guard. Most folks don't notice stuff like that. I notice you, he said softly. Her breath hitched. The waiter arrived with wine, breaking the moment, but the air stayed warm between them, charged in the quietest, safest way. As dessert came, Rowan asked, "Can I tell you something?" "Go ahead. I haven't felt this, pulled toward someone in a long time." Talia felt it too, a slow, tender gravity pulling her closer. Not rushed. Not forced. Just real. Do you think chemistry becomes stronger when someone truly sees you? The drive back from the restaurant was quiet, not the uncomfortable kind, but the kind full of unsaid things stretching between them. Rowan walked Talia to her car, his hands tucked in his pockets like he didn't trust them near her yet. "Thank you for tonight," she said softly. He shook his head. "No, thank you. I haven't felt that light in a long time." A breeze brushed her curls along her cheek. Rowan reached out, slow, almost asking permission, and gently tucked one curl behind her ear. His fingertips grazed her skin for half a second, but her entire body reacted. "Talia," he murmured, voice warm and careful. "Being with you feels like coming up for air." She swallowed, heart fluttering. "You barely know me." "I know how my chest feels when you look at me," he whispered. "That's not nothing." Her breath caught, because she felt it too. That soft tug inside her. That pull she'd pushed down for years with every man who talked over her, dismissed her, or simply didn't see her. Rowan wasn't like them. He looked at her like she was the only person in the room, even when they weren't in a room at all. She stepped closer. Just a little. Rowan inhaled sharply, like he hadn't expected her to close the space first. "If I'm reading this wrong," he said quietly, "tell me now." "You're not reading it wrong," she whispered. That was all he needed. Rowan lifted a hand to her jaw, thumb brushing the corner of her lips in a soft, reverent touch. Then he leaned forward, slowly, giving her every second to change her mind. When their lips finally met, it wasn't rushed or hungry. It was warm, deep. A gentle claiming and a gentle offering at the same time. His hand slid to the side of her neck, steady but tender, grounding her. She leaned into him with a soft breath, fingers curling into his shirt instinctively. When they finally broke apart, his forehead rested against hers. "That," he said, breath unsteady, "wasn't supposed to hit me that hard." She smiled, cheeks warm. "Then we're in trouble. Because it hit me too." Rowan's laugh was soft, almost boyish. "Good. Then let's be in trouble together." And for the first time in years, Talia wasn't overlooked. She was held, seen, wanted completely. Do you believe the best kisses are the ones that feel both surprising and inevitable? Let us know from your experience in the comment section. The next week brought a quiet rhythm, morning visits, shared coffees, late evening conversations that drifted into soft smiles and lingering touches. Their connection grew in that steady, glowing way that didn't need announcing. But the world noticed anyway. It happened on a warm Saturday during the River Arts Festival. The streets buzzed with music, booths, and families drifting from tent to tent. Talia was helping one of her students hang paintings when Rowan appeared beside her. "You okay with me being here?" he asked, voice warm but cautious. She nodded. "Yeah. I want you here." He smiled, and without overthinking it, he reached for her hand. His fingers laced through hers easily, like he'd been wanting to do it for days. But the moment he did, conversations slowed. Eyes shifted. A few whispers stirred, curious, surprised, and some, less kind. Talia stiffened. Rowan felt it instantly. "Do you want me to let go?" "No," she said, even though her pulse jumped. "Just not used to the attention." Rowan stepped closer so his shoulder shielded hers. "Let them look. I'm not hiding." The words settled deep inside her, warm and dangerous. As they walked, a couple of Rowan's acquaintances, a well-dressed man and his wife, approached. "Rowan, didn't expect to see you here," the man said, eyes flicking to Talia with a polite but thin smile. "And you are?" "Talia," Rowan said before she could shrink back. "My." He stopped, searching her eyes for permission. Her breath steadied. She nodded. "My partner," he finished boldly. The man's brows lifted. The wife's smile tightened. "Lovely. Well, enjoy the festival." They walked off quickly. Talia let out a slow exhale. "Partner, huh? If that's okay," Rowan said, brushing his thumb over her knuckles. "It is," she murmured. But the moment felt big, bigger than she was ready to admit. Later, as they set up a clay workshop for the kids, Talia caught Rowan watching her with a look she couldn't decipher. "What?" she asked, laughing lightly. He stepped close, voice low. "I just want to protect what we're building. Even if the world has opinions." Her chest tightened, not from fear, but from feeling chosen. Really chosen. For once in her life, she wasn't overlooked. She was someone's partner. Someone who mattered. Do you think love becomes stronger, or harder, when the world suddenly pays attention? Comment if you're ready for the conflict to escalate, and for their bond to be tested in ways neither of them expects. The following week, Asheville felt unusually quiet, as though the city itself was holding its breath. Talia was at the Arts Center, sorting through a stack of applications for a summer program, when her phone buzzed. An unknown number. She hesitated. A flicker of unease ran down her spine. Finally, she answered. "Talia Warren." A calm, unfamiliar voice asked. "You need to know who he really is." She froze. Who are you? You don't know him like you think. Rowan Hale isn't just a businessman. There are things in his past, decisions, investments, associations, that could complicate your life, and soon. Her grip tightened on the phone. "What are you talking about?" "There are people watching him. People who don't forgive easily. Be careful who you trust," the voice warned before the line went dead. Talia sank into a chair, heart racing. She wanted to call Rowan immediately, but something told her to wait. The shadows in the Arts Center suddenly felt deeper, colder. When Rowan arrived a few minutes later, smiling and carrying fresh coffee, she could barely meet his eyes. "Hey, you okay?" he asked, setting the cups down. Talia's voice wavered. "We need to talk. About you. Your past. Things I've been warned about." Rowan froze, the easy confidence slipping for the first time since they met. "Warned about what?" "I don't know yet," she admitted. "Someone called me. Told me to be careful. That there are people who don't forgive easily." His hand reached for hers, but this time, Talia flinched. Not from fear of him, but fear of the unknown. Rowan's jaw tightened. "Talia, whatever this is, I'll protect you. I won't let anything touch you." But even as he spoke, a shadow of doubt crossed his eyes. A memory flickered of deals gone wrong, rivalries buried but not forgotten. Outside, the late afternoon sun dipped behind a cloud, and the streetlights flickered on, casting long, uncertain shadows through the windows of the art center. For the first time, Talia realized that falling in love with a billionaire wasn't just a dream. Sometimes, it meant stepping into a storm you didn't see coming. And right now, that storm was just beginning. Would you risk everything for someone, even if their past could put you in danger? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. The next morning, Talia arrived at the Arts Center to find the front door ajar. Heart hammering, she stepped inside, calling softly, "Rowan!" No answer. Only the quiet hum of fluorescent lights and the faint smell of coffee. Then, a man's voice echoed from the office behind her. "Talia Warren? Glad you could join us." She froze. Rowan stepped into the doorway, his face pale but resolute. Behind him stood a sharply dressed man she didn't recognize. Papers were in his hand. A stack of contracts, legal threats, and photos of Rowan's past business dealings. "I didn't want you involved," Rowan said quietly, taking a step toward her. But Talia could see it. The mistakes, the betrayals, the rivals, the very parts of him no one usually talked about. The man spoke next, cold and precise. "Ms. Warren, your association with Mr. Hale could complicate matters. We recommend you step away. Now." Talia's hands shook. "Step away. From him. From you." Rowan reached for her, but she flinched. Not from him. From the weight of the world pressing down on them. She began, voice trembling. "I don't even know what to believe anymore. Who are you really?" "I'm the man I've always been," Rowan said, voice strained. "But my past, it's messy, dangerous at times. And it's following me. I wanted to protect you. I never meant to drag you in." Talia's chest tightened. She wanted to trust him, but the evidence in the man's hands told a different story. Rivals, lawsuits, whispers of betrayal, it was enough to shake her faith. "I need time," she whispered, stepping back. Rowan's hand lingered in the air where hers had been. "Time," he echoed. "I'll give you all the time you need. But don't forget, what we have is real." Outside, the wind howled through the empty streets of Asheville. Shadows stretched long across the walls, a reminder that sometimes, love isn't about comfort, it's about surviving the storm together. Talia stood frozen, torn between running from the chaos and holding on to the man who finally saw her. The hardest test of their love had arrived. Would you stand by someone you love, even when their past could destroy everything? Comment if you have been in similar situation before and what you did to overcome it. It started with a call that shattered the fragile calm Rowan had built around his life. A former business partner, furious over a deal gone wrong years ago, had resurfaced, with threats, public exposure, and proof of Rowan's missteps. The man didn't care about nuance. He wanted fear. He wanted control. Talia received an anonymous message first: "Stay away from him. You don't know the world you're stepping into." Her first instinct was to call Rowan, but when she arrived at his Charleston estate later that evening, the truth hit harder than words ever could. Rowan's private life, meticulously controlled, had been invaded. His security team was fuming, lawyers on phones, and the media had already sniffed rumors of a scandal that could ruin everything. Talia saw it in his eyes, the weight of responsibility, the guilt, the fear he'd drag her into a life she hadn't asked for. "I wanted to protect you," Rowan whispered, voice raw. "I never wanted this for you. For us. I don't know if I can," Talia admitted, tears slipping freely. "This is bigger than either of us. I can't." "Then run," he said, stepping back. "I won't stop you." Her heart ached, but something inside her refused to let go. She swallowed hard and reached out. "No. I'm not leaving. Not now. Not ever." Rowan hesitated, doubt flickering across his face. Then he closed the distance, pulling her into a tight embrace. His hands trembled slightly, but his lips found hers, not rushing, just grounding, anchoring them both in the only certainty left, each other. 4 hours, they sat in the quiet of the estate, surrounded by chaos, lawyers, and flashing screens showing headlines, and they held on. Words weren't needed. Every heartbeat said the same thing: we survived this together, or not at all. The storm didn't vanish that night. Challenges remained. But their love had endured the impossible, the revelation that could have broken them. In the darkness, with the world pressing in, Talia whispered, "We'll get through this." Rowan nodded, gripping her hand. Together. For the first time, they truly believed it. The days after the revelation were heavy. Rowan retreated into work, late nights in the office, walls of calls and contracts shielding him from Talia's gaze. She felt the distance like a physical ache, standing in the art center as if the world had grown colder, emptier without him beside her. Then came the article, a headline splashed across local and online news: Billionaire scandal rocks Charleston elite. Talia read it in disbelief. Every misstep, every past deal, exaggerated and framed as malicious. And right beneath it, a photo of her, walking hand in hand with Rowan. Suddenly she was in the spotlight too, unasked, unprepared. Her chest tightened. The whispers began. Friends, neighbors, even volunteers at the arts center exchanged glances she could feel, but not see. The weight of judgment pressed down like stones on her shoulders. Rowan arrived that evening, exhausted, face shadowed with guilt. "I didn't want this for you," he said quietly. "You didn't," she replied, voice shaking. "But it's here anyway. Everywhere. I don't know if we can." He reached for her, but she stepped back, tears streaming. "I can't watch you carry this alone. I won't. I won't let you drag me into a world I don't understand." For a moment, silence stretched between them, a canyon wider than either had expected. The love that had sparked so gently, so beautifully, felt fragile, threatened by forces beyond their control. Then Rowan knelt before her, taking both her hands in his. "Talia, I know this is hard. I know it feels impossible. But I promise, I won't let it break us. We built something real. Something worth fighting for." Her breath hitched. She wanted to believe, desperately, but fear and doubt wrapped around her heart like chains. "Can we survive this?" she whispered, almost to herself. Rowan lifted her chin gently. "We have to. Not just for us, but for the life we want. The love we can't live without." For the first time in days, she felt a spark of hope amid the darkness. A reminder that even at the lowest point, love could still be the strongest anchor. They didn't solve the crisis that night. The storm still raged outside. But holding each other, their hearts beating in sync, they knew one truth. Some love, the kind that sees and endures, survives even the darkest hour. Have you ever faced a moment where love felt impossible, but letting go felt worse? Drop your comments if you want to see the turning point, the grand gesture that could restore everything. The morning was crisp, with sunlight slicing through the fog that clung to Asheville's hills. Talia had spent the night tossing between fear, doubt, and the longing she couldn't silence. She walked into the arts center, trying to focus on the kids, but her mind kept drifting to Rowan. Then she saw him. Standing outside, in the center of the courtyard, surrounded by hundreds of little lights, lanterns, candles, twinkling strings draped from every tree branch. The air smelled faintly of jasmine and fresh paint, a mixture of her two worlds, crafted carefully by him. Talia's breath caught. "Rowan." "What?" He stepped forward, voice steady, eyes soft and unwavering. "I know the past has shadowed us. I know the world has tried to tell you that being with me would hurt you. But I can't let fear dictate this. I need you to know, I see you. I love you. And I'm not giving up on us." Her heart thudded. She could see every detail. The way he'd arranged the lights, the faint smile playing at his lips, the earnest glow in his eyes. "And tonight," he continued, pulling a small box from his pocket, "I want to start a new chapter. Just us." Talia's hands shook as she realized what he meant. Rowan knelt down, gently opening the box to reveal a delicate bracelet, engraved with their initials intertwined. "I can't promise the world will be easy," he said softly, "but I can promise that I'll choose you, every single day. If you'll let me." Talia's tears slipped freely. She had spent years being overlooked, dismissed, invisible. And here was this man, wealthy, powerful, yet utterly vulnerable, pouring his heart out in the quiet, luminous courtyard. I choose you too," she whispered. Rowan rose and took her hands, pulling her close. The kids and volunteers from the center peeked from behind trees, smiling quietly, giving them this moment. And in the gentle glow of lanterns and twilight, Talia realized something profound. The storm had tested them, pushed them to the brink, but love had endured, unbroken. They embraced, hearts synchronized, the world outside forgotten, as the first real laughter of relief and happiness filled the courtyard. Have you ever witnessed someone fight for love in a way that left you breathless? Drop your answers if you're ready for the reunion and breakthrough, the moment that sets their hearts fully on a shared future. The morning sun spilled over the rolling hills of Asheville, casting gold light across the Arts Center courtyard. Talia stepped outside, heart pounding, unsure if she'd see him again. But there he was, Rowan, standing beneath the largest oak tree, eyes fixed on her with an intensity that stole her breath. "Rowan," she whispered. He smiled, a slow, tender curve of lips that made her knees almost weak. "Talia," he said, voice low, full of warmth. "I've waited for you. Every day since the storm. I couldn't imagine facing it without you by my side." Her chest tightened. The vulnerability she had carried for years, the fear of being overlooked, melted in the gaze he held on her. "Rowan, I was so scared," she admitted, stepping closer. "Scared of losing you. Scared of what your world could bring into mine." He reached for her, fingers brushing against hers with a promise. "I know," he said softly. "But we survived. And that fear, it only makes what we have stronger." Their hands entwined naturally, fitting perfectly, as if the universe had carved them to match. Talia felt a warmth bloom in her chest, spreading through her entire body. Rowan leaned in slowly, their foreheads touching, breath mingling, hearts racing in tandem. "I don't want to just survive this life," he whispered. "I want every day with you. I want laughter, late nights, mornings with coffee in our hands, and every quiet moment in between." Talia's lips curved into a smile, eyes glistening. "Every day, with you," she murmured. The air around them seemed to hum, the soft rustle of leaves blending with the gentle warmth of the sun. Rowan closed the distance, capturing her lips in a kiss that was tender, hungry, and full of promises. It was a kiss that spoke of survival, hope, and a future that neither dared imagine before, but now could. When they finally parted, Rowan rested his forehead against hers, voice soft but resolute. "We're in this together. No shadows. No doubts. Just us." Talia wrapped her arms around him, feeling a sense of belonging she had never known. "Just us," she echoed. And in that moment, love was not just a feeling, it was a certainty, unstoppable and radiant, ready to carry them through everything the world could throw at them. It was a soft spring evening in Asheville. Lanterns lined the cobblestone path leading to the Arts Center courtyard, glowing like tiny stars. The children's laughter from earlier had faded, leaving a quiet, expectant hush. Talia walked hand in hand with Rowan, feeling a gentle tremor of excitement she hadn't realized was anticipation. "Are you sure about this?" she asked, smiling nervously. Rowan stopped, turning to her, eyes shining in the lantern light. "I've never been more sure of anything in my life. Every moment with you has made me certain. I want the rest of my life to be with you." He dropped to one knee, the faint rustle of the spring breeze moving through the branches above them. Talia's breath caught as he opened a small velvet box, revealing a ring that seemed to glow in the lantern light. "Talia Warren," he said, voice steady but soft. "From the moment I saw you, I knew you were someone extraordinary. You've been overlooked by the world, but not by me. Will you marry me? Will you be my partner, my equal, my love, for life?" Tears filled her eyes. Her heart, which had carried years of invisibility and doubt, now soared. "Yes," she whispered, her voice trembling with joy. "Yes, Rowan. Yes, 1,000 times yes." He slipped the ring onto her finger, standing to pull her into a warm, enveloping embrace. The world felt still around them, the lanterns casting their golden glow over the couple as if celebrating this new beginning. The Arts Center staff and volunteers, who had quietly gathered to witness the moment, clapped softly, smiles wide and eyes glistening. Rowan and Talia laughed through tears, sharing a kiss that sealed their promise, this time, unbroken, unshakable. That night, under a canopy of stars and gentle light, Rowan and Talia danced slowly in the courtyard, hearts beating together in perfect rhythm. Every challenge they had faced, the misunderstandings, the revelations, the storm of the past, had only strengthened their bond. Talia leaned her head on Rowan's shoulder. "We survived everything," she whispered. "And now," he replied, lips brushing her hair, "we begin forever." They walked into the future hand in hand, two souls once overlooked, now fully seen, and fully in love. Comment, my favorite part was, and share which moment touched your heart the most.
Thank you for watching this story to the end. If you enjoyed this story, you will surely love the next one. It's as crazier and more intriguing as you can ever imagine. So do check it out. Click on the image showing on your screen right now to watch the next one.